The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Oregon State Fire Marshal's Office, on your new Pierce Fire Apparatus, job number 35334-04. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation of your new vehicle. Starting first in the front bumper area, you'll find attached to the frame rail 2 forward-facing tow hooks. Just inside of that location, you'll find the siren and PA speaker system. Moving up to the outer edge, you'll find your headlight housing a low and high beam headlight and turn indicator. Just inside of that location in the upper portion of the grille, you'll find emergency warning lights. There are 2. Couple close-ups. This is the front bumper area indicating the tow hook, and as we move toward the center, you'll find the siren PA speakers. Let's move around now to the headlight structure housing low and high beam headlights. As we move back to the grille area, you'll find the emergency warning lights. Let's move around to the side of the vehicle. Front section is where you'll find the intersection light, which is an emergency warning light. Let's move downward now to the tire and wheel. You'll find aluminum wheel and also a Continental tire. As we move to the portion directly behind the rear air inlet, you'll find the certified clean idle and also the badge XLT F550. Down at the very bottom, you'll find full-length running boards for the front and rear passenger section. As we move to the forward door, you'll find extendable mirror, also a flat upper portion mirror, and a lower convex mirror. On the outer edge, you'll find a marker turn indicator. Let's move inside to the cab area. First, let's start with the door panel. Affixed to the door panel, safety and warning information placards. As we move to the upper portion near the A-pillar, you'll find window control and also mirror control. Just downward from that location, you'll find your door locks. As we move to the door jamb area, just below the door jamb, you'll find affixed to the running board lights. You'll also find in the door jamb area additional safety and warning placards. Let's move inside the cab now. We'll first start at the lower portion, starting first with the brake pedal in the center. Moving to the outer right side, you'll find your accelerator. Moving to the left in the image on the A-pillar is where you'll find your parking brake foot pedal, and also just above that, the brake release. Down in the lower left side, you'll find the hood release, and then moving just above the brake release is where you'll find your filter minder. This is for the vehicle engine air filter. Moving just to the right, you'll find this yellow placard. This is the placard manufactured from Pierce for your department, indicating first the 5-digit job number, date of manufacture, gross vehicle weight rating, cold tire inflation, all of the components, fluid capacity types that are necessary for your vehicle, including the VIN number. Let's move up to the dash. On the left-hand side, you'll find your headlight controls. Moving to the steering column, tilt mechanism. Just up from that location, the turn indicator selector. Let's move to the forward section of the dash. We'll start first on the left-hand side of the dash with the tachometer. Moving to the right, you'll find the speedometer. Located in the upper portion of the dash, you'll find additional gauges for oil pressure, water temperature, fuel level, and turbo. As we move to the display screen in the very center, just beneath that, you'll find your selector position for your transmission. Let's move toward the center of the dash, first starting on the left with the 3 buttons at the top. On the left-hand side, you'll find your regen switch. Moving just inside of that location, traction control and 4-way flashers. In the center, you'll find a display screen. Moving down to the left-hand side, you'll find your selector switch for 2 high, 4 high, or 4 low. Moving to the right, you'll find the media center. Moving down to the lower left-hand side, you'll find your trailer brake selector. And then moving further to the right in the lower portion of the image, you'll find climate control. As we move to the upper right-hand side of the dash, just underneath the vent area, you'll find 12-volt access. Let's move now to the center console area where you'll find additional tally lights. Also, you'll find a placard indicating the height of the vehicle, 7 feet 9 inches, length 24 feet 10 inches, gross vehicle weight rating 19,500. As we move to the right, you'll find your control module head for your PA speaker system and siren. On the side of that dash panel, you'll find 12-volt access also, in addition to your battery switch, which is the master battery switch. Let's move to the console again, to the upper portion. We do have some additional switches here. We'll cover those in just a moment. As we move to the right, you'll find your inverter module and also a map light. The individual candy cane colored placards are indicating additional wiring, which are labeled and identified. As we move to those switches, you'll find at the very top portion all of your emergency warning lights. As we move down, a high idle and also scene lights or floodlights. Moving to the rear section in between the passenger and driver's side, you'll find additional storage location for map books. As we move to the very front section, you'll find a display screen. This is for your backup camera. Also on the visor itself, you'll find additional warning placards on the passenger and driver's side. Let's move to the rear portion of the cab, first starting with affixed to the door panel, all of our safety and warning information placards. As we move inside to the cab area, you'll find a full-width bench seat for 3 personnel. Moving to the exterior on the front section of the bulkhead of the body is where you'll find your shoreline inlet and also auto eject plug. At the very top section, you'll find your battery voltage indicator. When plugged into shore power, this will become active. As we move to the body in the upper portion, you'll find 2 side-facing floodlights. Moving to the rear, you'll find an additional emergency warning light. As we identify a few items in the lower section, let's first start with the blue cap. This is your DEF fill location. Just to the rear of the axle, you'll find an additional lower emergency warning light. And then as we move to the very rear, you'll find the green cap, which is your ultra low sulfur diesel fill location. A couple of close-ups of the items we just talked about. This is the forward side-facing floodlight. Moving down to the bottom section, you'll find the DEF fill location, blue cap. As we move to the rear, you'll find the ultra low sulfur diesel fill location, which is your green cap. Moving down to the rear, you'll find dual wheels, Continental tires, and aluminum rims. As we move back up to the upper portion, you'll find a side-facing scene light flood and also emergency warning light. We have all of the roll-up compartments in the open position. You can see there's adjustable shelving and also pull-out shelving. The release mechanism is located on the right-hand side. As we move inside the compartment, you'll find shoreline and inverter power outlets, and at the very upper portion, you'll find 12-volt access. As we move to the rear section in this compartment, you'll find the inverter location module. And let's move exterior now to the rear portion of the apparatus, first starting down at the lower portion with an emergency light, brake, turn, and reverse light. Moving up from that location, you'll find a floodlight rear facing, and then an upper portion emergency warning light. Let's go ahead and move now to the rear section of the apparatus, lower portion, driver's side. You'll find mud flaps on the passenger and driver's side. Just underneath the body, you'll find additional lights. These are strip lights indicating just below the compartmented area. As we move toward the center of the apparatus, you'll find 2 outlets. These are for towing, and then you'll find directly in the center your tow hitch. Let's move up from this location where you'll find the roll-up door in the rear. And then let's go ahead and take a look inside. You'll find a full depth pull-out tray. The release lock mechanism is located in the center. As we move directly above this location, you'll find the backup camera. And then let's go ahead and take a look at some close-ups of the items we just talked about. First, emergency brake, turn, and reverse light. Just up from that location, emergency light at the top, and also a rear-facing floodlight. As we move to the opposite side, same configuration at the top, an emergency warning light, and then just beneath that, a rear-facing floodlight. Let's go ahead and move around now to the passenger side of the vehicle, where you'll have the same configuration and layout for location of all your lighting, in addition with compartments. First, let's start in the upper left-hand corner of the vehicle with an emergency light and also a side-facing flood scene light. As we move underneath the vehicle to the rear, you'll also find additional perimeter lighting. Directly behind the rear axle is where you'll find your exhaust tailpipe. Let's take a general look at the entire vehicle here, where you'll find Hazardous Materials Response Team Len Benton number 5. As we move into the compartments now, all compartment doors in the open, same configuration as you have on the driver's side. Let's move down to the lower portion of the rear axle, where you'll find this placard warning extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures. Be cautious during regeneration operations. As we move to the rear, you'll find Continental tires and also aluminum wheels. To the front section, you'll find SCBA bottle storage location. As we move up into the compartments, the black release mechanism is for the tray adjustable shelves upward and lowered positions. In the center compartment, you'll find shoreline and also inverted outlet. Let's go ahead and move to the forward section of the body, where you'll find a side-facing floodlight. General view here of the cab, same configuration as you have on the driver's side. Let's first down at the very bottom section, just under the running board, where you'll find perimeter lighting located at each entry point. Just above that location on the running board itself, you'll find step lighting. Let's go ahead and move now into the inside of the vehicle. We'll start at the rear section of the cab, first with the door panel. Affixed to that panel, all safety and warning information placards. As we move inside the cab, you'll see the bench seat across the rear for 3 personnel. And once again, as we move to the forward section officer area, you'll find affixed to the door panel all of our safety and warning information. Let's move inside the cab area, first starting out at the lower portion of the cab. At the console area, you'll find 12-volt access, and you'll also find the diagnostic port. Let's go ahead and take a look at the upper portion on the visor itself. Additional warning and placard information. As we move toward the center console of the vehicle, in the very center, you'll find programmable switching. As we move exterior, you'll find once again extendable mirrors, flat and convex mirror. As we move to the front section, you'll find the emergency intersection light. And as we move down to the front axle, you'll find once again aluminum wheels and also Continental tires. Congratulations, Oregon State Fire Marshal's Office, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 35334-04. If you have any question, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.